everybody, this is Amelia. Welcome to the episode 4 of my knitting podcast here on Amelia Future Knitting. So it has been like a month and a half since my last podcast video, and I have so much to update you guys on and to showcase with you. I think I have about a total of 4 WIPs. I mean, not 4 WIPs, 4 finished objects and 1 WIP to talk to you about. And yeah, it has been really hectic, so I haven't had a chance to sit down and film the video and update you on anything, and it's just been crazy. And I hope that things are dialing down a bit, because I would like to start update more frequently again, and showcasing you with more of my projects and stuff. And also I've been trying to do project vlogs for a lot of these projects, but it's not going as well as I want it to. And so yeah, I upload 1 project vlog and it was not like the greatest quality, but it was a test run. So I would love to do more project vlogs, just so I can take you along with it on the journey of like my knitting and stuff from beginning to the end, and I think that would be fun. But anyway, I do have, like I said, 4 finished objects to showcase with you. I don't have 2 of them on hands with me because I have to pack 1 of them away, since we're currently like away on vacations at the moment, and then 1 of them was a gift knit that I've already given away. So I only have 2 on me, and plus my WIP, but it's okay. I have photos, so I can showcase that. And yeah, anyway, let's get started. I guess I can start with what I'm currently wearing. This is my Ophelia blouse that I knitted, and if you've seen my episode 2, I talked about the constructions of this and my process of knitting this. It is currently my most favorite piece to wear this summer, and I love it. The only struggle I have at the moment is to find a good bra to wear it with. And one of the suggestions on Reddit suggested is whether or not I should sew in a pad, like a bra pad on the inside of the top, so that it's like incorporated into the top, so you don't have to wear have to struggle with bra. So I'm considering that. I might go that route, but I've not tried to sew on anything on the inside of knit before, so I don't know how that will work out. But if I were to do that, I would definitely update you guys on it. But yeah, let me stand up and show you guys what she looks like. This is what she looks like. And yeah, it is currently my absolute favorite summer wear right now, and the weather is finally starting to warming up, so I can wear her more often. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I guess we can dive into my finished object. So I have 4, like I said, finished object. I guess I can talk to you about the first 2 that I don't have on me, so we can get that out of the way. So I finished the Franky sweater, and this is what she looks like. I had a lot of fun knitting it. The ribbing, I think I mentioned in the last episode, is that it was really like long and it took forever, though I did end up chopping it quite a bit. I blocked it, I wore it for a little bit, but it was not cold enough for me to continue to wear it, so I have to pack it away for the summer. And since we're traveling right now, I couldn't bring it with me because it's a little bit bulky. So yeah, I'll just have to, show you the photos. But let's see what I have about it. Oh, the yarn. The yarn for that one was Alpakka Borstet. I think I pronounced that correctly, from Sandnes Garn. And I actually really love that yarn and how soft it feels, because I don't think I have the yarn with me as well. I don't have a lot of stuff with me. Like I said, I wish I had the yarn to show you, but it wasn't itchy at all as far as I can tell, although I do feel it a little bit around my neck. It's not like 100% non-itchy. I would say that it is still, I can still feel it on my skin when I'm not wearing anything underneath. But overall, I do like it. The only problem I have with that sweater is that the neckline is kind of like up here. You can probably see it in the photo. I'll try and find a photo that will have that shows that, but the neckline is a little bit close to my neck, which I really don't like about sweater, because it makes me feel like I'm being choked. And even with the stagger start that they had me do at the beginning to shift the neckline, I don't think it was enough. I wish it was a little bit more down, and when I block it, I did try to drag down the neckline a little bit so that it can help, but it didn't help. And then yeah, and surprisingly, that yarn did not grow a lot when I blocked either, but it did relax out a lot. And it was like this beautiful boxy fit. I think I had a video of me wearing it and showcasing the before and after. I'll also like overlay it here. And it was quite a boxy fit. I thought it was gonna be like super roomy because of the size that I knitted, but it didn't seem so. I think I really like how it turned out, even though the neckline kind of bothering me. But I think if I were to wear it with like a little bit a collar, like the model wore in the sample, I think that will probably be a little bit better because it's adjust the collar enough so that it's not like too close to my neck. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't worn it a lot yet, but from the part where I did wear it, that's kind of like what it feels. But yeah, let's see, is there anything else about that? I don't think so. Overall, I really like it. I love it and I cannot wait to wear it in the winter, and hopefully by then my neck issues won't be a problem. Hopefully, we'll see, but yeah. Anyway, the next finished object I have is the zipper sweater man by Petite Knit that I knitted for my dad for his birthday. I don't have a good photo of it. I don't have a picture of him wearing it because by the time I finished it, my parents were in Vietnam, so I couldn't like personally gift it to him, but I did have him try it on mid-project just to make sure that like it fits and everything, and it did fit him really well. So yeah, but I do have somewhat of a photo, and I hope it's like, I don't know, you can see a little bit better with it. So for that sweater, it took so long to knit, but surprisingly, I think I knitted that in 2 weeks, so it's not that long. I take it back. I lie. It didn't actually take that long to knit because it was on bulky weight and larger needles. And even though it was a men's size, due to the yarn weight and the needle, it did not take as long. Yeah. And but then I did work on it like crazy because it was a gift knit, and I told you I have to meet a certain deadline last month. So I was putting a lot of effort in working on it. The overall construction of that sweater, I loved it. I think while I was knitting that sweater, I loved it so much that I wanted to knit one for myself, and then I showed it to my husband, who was kind of my sample try on while I was making it to make sure that it fits him, because if it fits him, then it will fit my dad. But he loves it as well, and he also wants one. So there might be 2 more zipper sweater coming from me in the future as well. This construction was really straightforward. I love the folded collar. It gives a lot of the structure to the sweater, and yeah, pretty raglan structure. Oh, I installed zipper for the first time in my life, and it was the most difficult process ever. But I don't think I was doing it correctly. I was kind of winging it. I watched a video of it like a couple days before I sat down and do it. I probably should have pulled up a video while I was doing it, and that probably would help, but I didn't, and I was kind of winging it, and it didn't really turn out as nice as I wanted to be because there was a lot of bunching around the zipper area, because I think I don't know what could cause the bunching. Maybe there was too much zipper, or maybe I don't know. Why? There was just a lot of bunching around the zipper area, and it was just messy. And then also when you sew in like on the, I wish I had a video, but maybe I can highlight it. Let me highlight it on the picture, but Petite Knit has us knit this little encasing for the zipper on the inside, and then you have to sew the inside encasing in before you sew in the zipper from the outside. And when I sewed the encasing inside in, I did not count the same stitched amount on this side versus this side. I think you can see it on the picture. I'll zoom in on that area so that you know what I'm talking about. But like, on this side it was way bigger than this side, and it was just not turning out really well. But it was like the last day before my vacation, so I really just want to finish it so that I don't have to bring it with me because it was really bulky and heavy. And yeah, I think next time I can do it better hopefully, and if not, and I probably would just go find someone who can install it for me, because it did make the like the sweater look a little bit unsightly in my opinion, because of like all the bunching and stuff, and I don't think I lined it correctly either. I tried to pin it down as I was sewing it, but it still didn't help. But I also think that my zipper was way longer than, oh, maybe that's what causing the bunching, is that my zipper was way longer than the, like, what the amount that I needed for the sweater. And so as I were going to sew it, it was like bunching on itself because there was not enough room to give within the sweater. And I didn't cut the zipper. I learned that you're supposed to cut the zipper before you sew it on. And I didn't do that. I thought I had the exact measurement, and I thought I could just like fold the zipper and held it down as I'm sewing it, and that's what I did. And I think that's why it's caused all sort of issues. And the amount of time that I almost rage quit on sewing that zipper was, yeah, it was very difficult. But that won't deter me from knitting another zipper sweater, because I really love the construction and I would love one for myself, and my husband also loved one too. So it will be a lesson learned, a skill that will be honed next time. So I will continue to work on that. And yeah, outside of the zipper part, the sweater was really straightforward, super fun to knit. And yeah, I consider it's a win, and I enjoyed it. Actually, there was one part that was confusing to me, is the zipper enclosure on the inside on the pattern, because the right side and the wrong side, I don't think it was clearly indicated, or maybe I have just glossed over it, because when I was watching like a creator sewing in her zipper, the directions of her stitch was the opposite of mine, because my purl row was facing me, but her knit row was facing hers, and so that got me all confused. And at some point, my left and my right was twisted. When I go and connect it to make the part down here, it got all twisted somehow, and then I have to unravel it and redo it. And I also think my count on one side was off from the other, so the zipper encasing was kind of like causing me a lot of issue. But like I said, it's a lesson learned for the next time, so it's all good. Everything is a lesson, so that's, but it still turned out pretty good. I mean, you judge on the picture. I think it's still a win. I think it's still good. And yeah, the zipper issue won't make the cardigan, like the sweater looks, I don't know why I keep wanting to call it cardigan, maybe because of the opening, I don't know. But it might make the sweater look a little bit unsightly, but you know what? It gives its handmade characteristic. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna comfort myself with. So whatever. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all for the zipper sweater. And then the next whip I have that was not intended on my plan for April was the cumulus tee. This was a spontaneous cast on, and I think I did it in like a week. It looks like this. I talked about the cumulus tee a couple of times and showcased you the yarn that I was knitting it from. It's to refresh your memory, the yarn I use is Truboo by Lion Brand, and I got the yarn during a Joann sales for their store closing. And yeah, it was super random. It's part of my summer knitting plan, and I do not know why I had the biggest urge to just cast it on. And so I abandoned everything and I just cast it on. And now we have this. I really enjoy knitting this actually. Knitting on a small needle after a large needle makes it feel so slow. But for some reason, I think because of how engaging the beginning part constructions of this top is, that it makes it went by really quickly. And also, I also think because the sleeve is short, that it also makes the whole thing went by really quickly. I think the only part that was staggering me for the long time was actually not the body, surprisingly. It was actually the eye core of the body. This took forever. I think it took so long. And yeah, as for the construction, it's just a raglan v-neck. So like during the v-neck part, you will knit flat until like at some point you join at the V, you know, when you finish the v-neck, and then you join in the round and you knit in the round, and then you pick up the stitches and you know, you knit the sleeve. So it's very like simple, regular constructions, and there's nothing too crazy about it. I did I-cord bind off all around. This is not my first time doing I-cord bind up actually, but it is my first time doing I-cord bind up in the round. And I've never done I-cord bind up in the round before, so when it comes to joining the two I-cords together, I was actually kind of struggling, and I don't think I joined it as seamless as I wanted it to be. As you can tell right here, can you see it? It's right there. You can see it very well, and you know, that's the case for all around the top, but yeah. Also, as for the yarn, I am not 100% happy about this yarn. It's so soft, it's so silky, I really like it, but it's so heavy. Like there's weight to this sweater, and I feel like if you were to hang it up, it's gonna drape down and it's gonna drag the top out a lot. When I first bind off the top, it didn't seem this big. I feel like, and after I blocked it, it didn't seem big either. I'll pop up a video before and after blocking for you to see, like a picture actually, not a video, but a picture of before and after, and it didn't seem so big. And then I proceeded to wear it for like a couple of days, and I noted that it started to get bigger, and I don't know if it's because the yarn, because I noticed that the neckline, when I first cast it up and wear it, the neckline was a little bit higher on me, and then I think it has drooped down way lower than when I originally had it, especially even after blocking. After like 3 wears, I've been wearing this quite a bit. I think I wore it for like a couple of days after I finished it. But yeah, the neckline is definitely drooped, and I think that if I continue to wear it due to the weight of the top and the yarn, I think it's dragging the neckline down way more than where it was supposed to sit. So I might have to put it in an elastic like band around it to help with the neckline so that it would stop drooping down so much, because at some point I feel like this is gonna go all the way to my belly button if I don't do that, because it is sagging like crazy. And also I think it got bigger as I was wearing it too. So yeah, and also this yarn has a lot of memory. As you can tell from the wrinkle, I packed it in my bag, so there's a lot of wrinkling. But like, what about memory? I meant like while you were wearing it, right? You're like, because it's the sleeve stopped right at like my elbow. So when I go to fold my elbow like this, or like movement of my arms, it creates this crease around the arm area, and it's stays like that. It doesn't relax back like other yarn. Like for example, like I don't know if I'm making any sense. Like it doesn't relax back out, it just like crease permanently, and like the slightest movement would causes a crease, and the crease would just stay there and it doesn't go away until you kind of like wash it, or like then it will go away. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, I love the feeling of the yarn. I don't love the wearing of it, because it's so heavy, and holding it like this makes me feel like I'm already like dragging it out. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it's that. I still love this. I think I would love to remake it in the recommended yarn, which is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, which is this top that I'm wearing. And this top has a lot of structure to it. Like, as you can see with the way that the lace is laying, or like the way that it is on your body, I just feel like this yarn is higher quality and has way more structure, so that it probably won't have any of these issues I'm mentioning. And the weight is super light. Like this is super lightweight. This is really heavy. I wish I have like a scale so that I can weigh it. I knit it, I used, I think I got 4 skein at Joann, and I think I only end up using about 2.5 skein. I still have 1.5 skein left of this yarn. I'm not sure what to do with it yet. So I might make like a scarf, maybe not. I don't know what to use with like given how heavy it is. But yeah. Oh, and then another thing about this top while wearing it is that I noticed, even though it's a V-neck, there was no German short row incorporated into this top. So while you're wearing it, there's like the natural fall of the V-neck is that it dragged it up a little bit. So there's end up being more fabric in the back, and then the V-neck actually fall to like the back a little bit more. So like your front is like lifted up compared to the back. So there's also that in terms of construction. If that is something that bothers you, then I would probably add German short row if you were to knit this. So there's that. Let's see. Is there anything else more? I don't think there's anything else more, but definitely need to learn how to join I-cord better. And I actually don't enjoy I-cord buying up as much as I thought. Okay, so there's also that. It was just taking so long, but yeah. Anyway, that is the cumulus tee. I think I might want to make the cumulus blouse because I really like the mohair editions of this, and lately I've been really into mohair, but for some reason I haven't knit anything pure mohair yet, even though I have planned to, but I have not done any. So I think my next project hopefully will be mohair. Finger crossed. I don't know why I'm guessing. I could just make it like cast on a mohair project. I don't know why I'm acting like I don't have any free will to do so. Anyway, the next finished object I have is probably one of my next favorite top I have that I made this summer. It's the Provence top. This is what she looks like. Don't mind the fold lines. She has been folded in the my travel bag, so she's a little bit wrinkly than she's supposed to look like, but this is her. I posted a project vlog with a link above for you guys if you guys want to go see and follow along with the journey of me making this top. But can we take a moment to appreciate how beautiful this lace is? I am literally obsessed with this lace, and it's so pretty, and I wore it for like 2 or 3 times now. I wore it to take my family photos with my in-law because that was the original intended for this top. Originally, I didn't think I would match well with this green, but it turns out really good, and I really like it. I really like how it looks. With the construction of this was a bottom-up knitting. So you start with the ribbing at the bottom, and you knit to the certain point, and then you split for the front and the back, and then you knit the 2 shoulders separately, and then you joined at the top using Kitchener stitch. I learned how to do Kitchener stitch for the first time ever, and I think I did a really good job. Like, can you tell? I feel like it's relatively seamless on both sides. It's not too obvious. I was really proud. It was a really good skill to learn because I heard about Kitchener stitch all the time, and I've never learned how to do it, and this is like the one chance I got the opportunity to, so I really enjoyed it. As in terms of the knitting, this was really straightforward. I think the pattern was really well instructed, and I like that she gave both chart and written instructions for the lace so that you're not confused, especially where like this little heart bust area is. Like, she gave written instructions so that you don't have to kind of do the guessing yourself. So it was really neat and nice. One thing about this is that I didn't realize that the yarn is not super stretchy. I should have known because it's cotton and cashmere, and the cotton part I think is why it's not as stretchy as your regular wool or just pure cashmere, because the neckline is a bit tight. It's actually kind of hard to pull it over my head or take it off sometimes, and yeah, it's not to the point where it's impossible to put on. Obviously I've worn it, but it's just a little bit difficult, and I don't think I love my neckline as much, but I'm not gonna undo the Italian bind up and go back and redo it. But there was a mistake that I made with the neckline, is that somehow it did not register to me in the process of making the neckline, because I don't know what I picked up from the front of the top for the neckline. And then now there's like a joint right at the center. I don't think it's that obvious that you can tell. I don't know, but it's kind of where I start picking up stitches and then went from there. And I only realized it at the end as I was going to weave in the end. Actually, it didn't even register after I finished it. It was only right after I finished the Italian bind off. And as I was weaving in the end, I look at the top again and I realized I was in the front. So there's that, but it is my favorite top though, so I still really like it. I still am going to get a couple more wear out of it this summer before, you know, summer officially. It's the start of summer, so I don't know why I'm worried about it going away already, but there's that. But yeah, and then another thing that I didn't realize about this as well is that because of the stiffness of the yarn when I block it, it didn't grow as much as I thought it should. And yes, I should know that before I proceed to knit with the yarn, is that I should have swatch and then, you know, block and do all that, but I did not. I don't swatch, which is a really bad thing, but it will be okay. But yeah, it didn't stretch out as much as I want to, so this is supposed to be like a drop shoulder top, but it doesn't drop very far. I think my drop shoulder, instead in the picture, it's about on the sample, it's about down here, but for mine, it sits right about here. So when I put it on for the sleeve, it's kind of bunches a lot on the underarm and it kind of flare out over here. But as I'm wearing it, I think I stopped noticing the flare out. It was really bad when I first wore it, but I think the yarn has loosened up with the wear, and so like it doesn't cause that flare out as much. I think I have it in one of my picture of that I can pop up and show you. I just have to find it, but yeah. And I don't think there's anything more to talk about. I think overall it was really quick. I knitted this in 8 days, and oh, there was at some point where I first cast it on the ribbing at the bottom. I didn't pay attention before I joined in the round, and I proceeded to join in the round, knitted a couple of rounds, I think four or five rounds in, and realized that it was twisted. So I have to unravel that and redo it all over again. And it was whatever, but lucky I figured it out and not, you know, all the way to the stockinette. So, and then also another struggle I have, actually I forgot about this. It's been a little bit, so I forgot about it, but picking up the sleeve, I did not pick up the recommended number for my size. I think I ended up picking up 2 sizes more because my pickup rate was all weird, and I don't know what could potentially cause me to pick up 2 sizes more than what was asked, but I did have to pick up 2 sizes more, and that might be why my sleeve was kind of flaring out too. I don't know, maybe. I think so, but yeah, I did end up having to pick up more stitches than was asked, and I think that might be the problem. I'm just repeating myself, but yeah, beside that, I don't think there was any other crazy issue. I did have to pick up the sleeve multiple times before I can get the correct, like, or at least semi-correct number of stitches to match so that the chart of the lace can turn out well. So yeah, I don't know what could have went wrong. Maybe my row gauge didn't work out, but then the number of like the lace, I just follow the patterns, and the pattern give you how many rows of this is supposed to knit, so that is not, should not even be the issue. I just think my pickup rate was just all wrong, and I end up picking up more than I should, but I don't know. It's a learning curve still for me when it comes to picking up stitches still. So yeah, but I think she still turned out really great. She's really popular on my TikTok. A lot of people really like this top, so I really like it too. So yeah, anyway, but that should be all for my finished objects. So yeah, let's talk about my whip in progress. So I have one whip in progress as always, since like I said, I'm a monogamous knitter. So I am currently working on the Lauren jacket, and if you've seen one of my, I think I talked about the Lauren jacket in the previous podcast, but if you haven't seen it, just to give you some context, this is supposed to be a gift knit for my mom for Mother's Day, and Mother's Day is already passed, but it's okay because she's on vacations right now, so I couldn't have given it to her on Mother's Day anyway, and so I will probably just finish it and ship it to her as a late Mother's Day gift. But this is what I have finished so far. I just kind of whack myself in the face with all the stitch marker, but this is what I have so far. I finished the body. I'm trying to avoid that little light strip that is like hitting my face. This is what I have done. Can you see it better now? I finished the body. It does look a little bit cropped, but my mom and me are about the same size in height, so we're both very like, we're short. We're just really short. And so this fit me, let me put it on so you guys can see, but this is what it looks like so far, and I'm really proud of this pocket that I managed to do. Can you guys see it? It's just so freaking cute, and I love it so much, and it might cause an obsession of putting pockets on everything I've knitted. I thought it would be harder to put on pockets, but it's actually really simple. Yeah, let's talk about the construction so I can tell you about the pocket. So this is a set, the construction of the sleeve makes me think that this is a set-in sleeves, but it might be a drop shoulder. But anyway, so what you do is you cast on the number of stitches for the bag, you knit the bag to the certain length, and then you pick up for the right and the left shoulder, and then you join the round, and then you knit flat in the round. It's pretty much that construction, and then you pick up for the sleeve later. Oh, and you also do German short rows and stuff. But that's kind of like the basic schematic of the constructions. And then as for the pocket, you actually, so you knit the body to the point where you want the pocket is, and then what you do is that you put the number of stitches for the pocket on hold for the inside part, and then you cast on. I did a Italian cast on for, you cast on the same number of stitches for the pocket, and then you knit the rest of the body to the other side to the next pocket, and you do the same thing. You put stitches on the inside on the hold, and then you use Italian cast on to cast on the stitches, and then you just keep knitting like that back and forth until you finish the body. But then you don't start on the ribbing yet, right, to the length that you want. You don't start on the ribbing yet. If you want your body to be longer, you proceed to knit the body longer. But if you don't, you will proceed to like turn it inside out, and then you would knit the inner lining of the pocket. And then you would have like this little weird slit situations going on right here where you will have to sew it in at the end. But it was really straightforward. I think the instructions to the pockets, I'll talk about the pattern actually. I'm getting ahead of myself, but overall this was it wasn't that bad. And actually knitting cable has been so fun for me because I've been knitting a lot of stockinette and lace, and this is my second ever cable project, and so like cable has been really like stimulating and enjoyable to knit, and this is going by quicker than I want, but not quick enough because I would love to be done with it by this weekend, because like I haven't been able to work on it a lot, so it's been dragging out, and I'm kind of in like a summer knitting mood, and so this is not scratching that itch for me, and I don't know if that makes sense, because I really want to cast on like a summer top project right now, and I have all the yarn for it, and I've been staring at it, and I really desperately want to do that, but because I cannot do more than one project at a time, so it's actually kind of driving me crazy, and I just feel like if I put this down, I might not pick it back up until the end of summer, and I don't want that. So I'm kind of trying to finish this as fast as possible. I'm hoping to finish it by this weekend. Today is Wednesday, and so I'm hoping to finish it by Sunday so that I can cast on my summer top and go back to summer knitting, because I'm kind of obsessed with summer knitting at the moment, and I have all these plans, so I really would hope to knit all of that so that I can wear it this summer too. So anyway, off topic, but yeah, this is what she looks like, and I do have some complaint about the patterns. Maybe I'm just not a very advanced knitter because this pattern is not beginner friendly, and I didn't know that, and I still somewhat consider myself like a beginner or an advanced beginner when it comes to knitting because I have not been knitting for a year yet. I think I hit my 1 year in July, and so when I first started this, I should have really noticed the difficulty of the pattern because I think on Ravelry she labeled it as advanced or maybe intermediate, but you know, me being me, I thought I could do it, and I thought, because sometimes like create designer do tend to over labels the pattern sometimes, and so that kind of like why I thought it was gonna be easier. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that the pattern is not as well laid out as I am used to. It's like, for example, with petite knit pattern, her pattern is very laid out. The instruction is very clear and precise about what you need to do. This one was a little bit more ambiguous to me because it's only giving you the number of stitches to cast on and however long you need to knit it for. And then you pretty much knit from the charts. There is like not written out instructions, not very much written out instructions. Like you're pretty much just knitting straight from the chart. And like I was already struggling from like the first 2 steps after I cast it on because there was like the charts, and then it's not that I don't know how to read the charts, but there was like symbols in the chart or like lines in the chart that I was confused on, but I got that all figured out. So if you want to knit this pattern, you would have to learn how to read charts because there's not a lot of written instructions. And then as the pattern moved along, still more charts. I think the pocket, she did really well explaining how to do the pockets part, so that was in a situation. I think another part that got me confused was when the pattern asked me to decrease the number of stitches for the body before the ribbing so that the 1 by 1 ribbing would align perfectly. But then I didn't need to do that because when I did that, it was actually misaligned my 1 by 1 ribbing, and then I have to like undo that and then redo it. I didn't need to do that decrease, and it wasn't set to do any specific size. It was just to do it, just to do that. It wasn't indicating like, oh, a small need to do it or not need to do it. It wasn't indicated. So maybe it's just, I don't think my stitches were off either though. So I don't know. And then another minor complaint I have about the pattern is actually the sleeve. This is actually kind of driving me insane, and I'm hoping to like figure it out as I go. But for the decreases of the sleeve, the pattern didn't go into detail of how to decrease the stitch in patterns, like in the cable patterns, right? So I kind of have to figure it out myself. So like, I don't know if you can see it, but like there is a cable on 2 sides, right? But as you decrease, I stopped doing the cable because the number of the stitches are not enough to do both of the cable and like also like this stockinette striped here. And so like it giving it this weird look. Like, is it weird? I don't know, but I just end up keeping it stockinette as I go so that I don't have to like figure out how to do the crisscross cable, like, you know, like a 2 by 3 or stuff like that. And I just figure it's on your underarm, you're not gonna see a lot of it. But it was kind of frustrating that like the designer didn't really tell you how to keep the pattern, or maybe there was just no way to keep the pattern and you just expected to do stockinette, but it wasn't stated as well. And also the rate decreases of this was also really weird. I've never done this rate of decrease. So you're supposed to decrease every 4 rows for like 9 times, and then every 6 row for like 10 times. So this sleeve is going to get a lot more like smaller. But yeah, that's the other only complaint I have about the patterns. But otherwise, it hasn't been too bad of a knit. I actually have a lot of fun with it, and at some point before I put on the sleeve, I tried it on without the sleeve, and I'm like, I might want a vest version of this because it was really cute as a vest. I think I have a picture of that. I'll pop it up on the screen, but yeah, I don't think there's anything else for me to talk about this. I'm hoping that by the time the next podcast go up, I have this finished to show with you guys before I ship it off. So, oh, I forgot actually. The button band is incorporated into the knitting of the body so that you don't have to pick up stitches to do the button bands afterwards. So that was really nice. So the only thing I will have left is the collar for it after. So, oh, and the one cool thing about the button band is that it's a cable button band, as you can see. This is my first time doing cable button band and buttonhole in the cable, and it was actually really interesting and fun, and I really like the look of it. So that, like, let me put it back on and kind of show you. But so that when you go and button the cardigan, it becomes like a one seamless cable piece. So like this is not cable, but when you button it, it will get hidden, and it's just like a seamless cable piece, as if there's like no stop at any point. I thought it was really cool. That's kind of fun. But yeah, I think that is all for this whip that I have. So I do have a knitting plan. Let me just talk quickly about knitting plan. I think this video is going to be way longer than my usual video. So let's talk quickly about my knitting plan for the rest of May. My knitting plan for the rest of May will be the Ophelia Tank by Star-Crossed Knit, which is the sister to the Ophelia Blouse, which is this. And I am also using the same yarn because I think the designer asked me to buy 5 skein for this top, but I only end up using about 2.75. So I still have about 2.25 left. And I didn't want this yarn to go to waste, and this color is so beautiful that I don't know what else to knit it with, and I don't want to buy more yarn right now. I want to use up my yarn stash first before I proceed to buy more yarn. So I decided to knit the Ophelia Tank, and I look at the yardage and stuff, and for my side, I should be able to use 2.5 of this skein to make the Ophelia Tank and use up this yarn. So this will be my next cast on for May as soon as I finished my Lauren jacket and then get back on my summer knitting. So I'm really excited to knit this, and I think I'm going to film a project vlog of me knitting this as well. And the constructions of the tank is like pretty much similar to this, but instead of like it kind of like a blouse with buttons, right? It will just be like a full tank without button, but all the lace schematic will still be the same. And the difference between the tank, I think she have multiple versions for that one. There's one with calf sleeves like this, and then there's like pure tank where it's just kind of like a strap here. And then there's also a long sleeve version, and I'm knitting the one without the calf sleeve, so it's just the tank with the strap and then the lace on both sides, because I think that's all I have enough yarn for. So that is my knitting plan for May, and yeah, I think that was really brief and quick, but but I think that is all I have for you guys today. And yeah, hopefully my next podcast video won't be so far away. I'm hoping to do this more like in the frequency of every 2 weeks, so that I can keep you guys more up to date with all my whips and stuff, so that I have more whips to talk about. Like I will talk about what am I trying to say? I'm hoping to keep the knitting podcast to like 2 weeks, so that I can showcase to you the whip as I'm working on it more than the finished object at the end, because I feel like I'm missing half of the journey to talk to you guys about it, you know. So but hopefully when I start doing more project vlogs, that would help negate that, and then, you know, I can go back to the monthly frequency, because I do kind of like monthly a little bit more. But I don't know, I'm trying out new things, so we'll have to see. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.